Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the KitchenAid mixer front sleeve bearing. It's going to be a very easy repair, and it's only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new front sleeve bearing. The front sleeve bearing is where the back of the worm gear mounts. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's failed, you're getting squealing noise coming from the bearing. In order to change the part, we have to open up the mixer. We're going to take off the accessories just to get them out of the way. You want to make sure the bowl is in the down position. And then we can reach in and take off the beater. All you have to do is lift up on it, turn it clockwise, and then let it drop down. You can pull it out. To get the bowl up, we're just going to lift it off the mounting pegs and pull it out. Now we're around at the back of the mixer. We're going to use a Phillips screwdriver to take out the screw that holds the trim on. Once you have the screw out, you can pull the trim off and set it aside. With the trim out of the way, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the 4 screws that hold the cover on. There's 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. Once you have all 4 screws out, you can lift the cover off and set it aside. Now that we have the cover off, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the 2 screws that hold the speed control board in place. Once you have both screws out, we're going to lift the board up and out of the way. We have to use a small flathead screwdriver to release the tabs that hold the little sensor in. Just have to press on each side and get them to release. Once you have both tabs released, you can pull the sensor out of the motor, and then we can swing the speed control out of the way. If your mixer has the old transmission housing like ours does, the manufacturer recommends that you upgrade it to the metal housing because it's stronger. We're not going to show you in this video because that part has its own video. We're going to use a Phillips screwdriver to take out the 4 screws that hold the transmission cover down. Once you have all the screws out, we can lift the transmission housing off. Now that we have the housing off, we have access to the inside. We can change out the front sleeve bearing. It's mounted right here on the front of the worm gear. You just have to lift up on the worm gear. You don't even have to take it all the way out. Just lift up on it, pull the sleeve bearing off. There is a thrust bearing down there, so make sure you don't take that off. Just leave those 3 pieces there. Once you have the bearing off, you can pull it off the mixer. Here's the old front sleeve bearing next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. To put the new front sleeve bearing on, we're just going to lift up on the worm gear again. And you want to make sure that the side with no flange goes up against the thrust bearing. And then when you push it on, there's a flat on each side. You want to make sure those are vertical, so when you drop it down to the housing, it lines up. Once you have it in place, we can put the housing back on. All you have to do is line it up and flip it over. Once you have it lined up, you can push it down into place. If it won't go down all the way, you may have to turn this little hub attachment right here so it lines up with the beveled gear. Once you have it in place, we can use a Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in to hold it down. Once you have the housing back on, we can remount the speed control board. We're just going to lift it up and plug in the sensor. It can only go one way. Just make sure it clips into the motor and stays in place. Once you have it there, we can rotate the board over and line it up with the screw holes. Once you have it in place, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Once you have the speed control back in place, we can put the cover back on the mixer. Just going to line it up and set it down in place. Once you have it in place, we can use a Phillips screwdriver to put in the 4 screws. Now that we have the cover back on, we can put the trim ring on. We're just going to set it in place. Then we can go around back and use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screw in to hold it on. Once you have the trim ring on, we can put the bowl back on. To put the bowl back on, we're just going to line up the pins on each side. Once you have it in place, you can push down on the back to snap it in. Once you have it in place, we can put the beater back on. To put the beater back in, we're just going to line it up on the shaft and make sure the pin goes into the cutout and lift it up into place. Turn it counterclockwise to lock it on. Once you have it in place, we can plug the mixer back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.